Alrighty, what's up, everybody? Welcome to 1868 Weekly, episode number I have no idea. My name is Brad Palonsky, and I am subbing in for John Macalusa this week, filled in with Mr. Loyal himself, always in every episode except for the one, Matt Rafferty. Matt, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I managed to get here, and the only reason why I didn't do the last one is because of Disneyland. I probably would have done it, but it is what it is.
Take some commitment to really go into Disneyland and say, you know what? I'm gonna do a live stream anyways, even in
Maybe
the
I'll
line of
drop in.
Splash Mountain. Yeah. Man, so hold on. Where in the world is Matt Rafferty this week? You got a nice little background back there. But before we wager my guess, we got some news coming in for you this week. This week we got a little bit of news about Reno 1868. Reno signed a player, a midfielder. We also have a bunch of news from around the soccer world and American soccer. And then we'll keep talking a little bit, some random thoughts. Get out of here. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, I need to wager my guess of that lovely background that you are in. Well, it's snow covered mountains, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no civilization in sight to behold. I know that you were out in Elko recently. I don't know if they got, or Winnemucca, I don't know if they got snow out there recently, did they?
Well, not necessarily Winnemucca itself, but I'm kind of all around that area anyway, so it uh, it kind of opens up the entire state to you.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know how recently they would have gotten snow out there.
Yeah. Well,
Man.
though, to be fair, it is in the general Winnemucca area. Like you drive a mile in any direction, and you're going to hit not a mile, an hour in any direction uh, from Winnemucca. You're going to hit where I'm at.
All right, so I was gonna say you were just outside of Battle Mountain in this photo. I feel like I'm the opposite direction of where you actually were in this photo.
No, actually, you're pretty close. It's kind of in between. It just kind of like diagonal from each other in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of bouncing around that valley right there, and it was cold, and then it was hot, and lots of heavy stuff. It was good. Yeah.
I mean, the state is always beautiful. I love this state, living here. It's beautiful. I love just leaving work and visiting the mountains or looking at the mountains and it's snow covered right now. But yeah, well, I guess I'll give myself a kind of pat on the back.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. You've kind of deduced from the information given to you earlier. So yeah, good stuff.
Well, thank you. So, news for this week for Reno. Well, we got really one big piece of news, one player who has re-signed with the team. Matt, who would that player be?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are happy that we are getting back our only local boy, Kevin Partita. He's back and he is officially signed to a Reno 1868 contract. He's no longer a loanee from San Jose, which I mean, from his point of view, I can see that being a bit of a bummer. But I mean, dude's still living his dream and playing his favorite sport for a living, and he gets to stay at home with his family. And dude, I am stoked that he's back. And I know a lot of other people are too. The internet kind of exploded after that the signing was announced, and let's get him like actual starting position. I want him to work in there and be playing, starting if not playing every single game.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment just like you do. I think the most important thing about this information, I think I commented it on the 1868 announcement, but the most important thing is for once we get a full year out of him. I don't think we've ever had, actually, and he signed in what 2018, played for us a little bit in 2019, but he only really played like 20 something games for us in the past 2 years. So
Sounds about right. Yeah.
so this year is his first real year where he's going to get a full year. He's going to be healthy this year. He's fully recovered from that injury, Achilles injury that ended his year last year, or no, 2 years ago when he got signed with San Jose. Um, but it's about time that look, I've criticized him a lot in the past, and I feel like a lot of that has come with, him being a San Jose player and being brought up here. But when he played for us a couple years ago, the kid has a lot of fire. He's really good, and I'm gonna have to eat my words this year. At some point because I feel like he's going to have a significant impact on the team with his re-signing this year, as long as he stays healthy. So I'm looking forward to eating my own words because I know I criticized him a lot last year, and so I'm really looking forward to having him back.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, a lot of the criticism may have come from the way a lot of Reno fans feel, where you get these San Jose players, and a lot of people feel like they might not be given their all because they are on loan. And even if that's not the case, outwardly, there might be that little, you know, tickle in the back of your head that makes you think that. But I mean, he is going to be in Reno full time. Ian's going to have control over his fitness, over his nutrition, and he's going to be able to fit into the Ian Russell system completely from here on. And I think it's going to be really good for his production.
Yeah, I agree so completely. I'm looking forward to having him back. I guess my biggest worry about this offseason would have been like not keeping the players, worrying about players going elsewhere. And for once, I'm just kind of happy that the team is intact and I'm not having to worry about what's going to happen next season. That kind of, that stress at the end of the season from last year is kind of going away. And Kevin Partita is just a signing that he's familiar. I think having familiar players in Reno now, given I want a lot of unfamiliar players that are willing to come in here from other USL teams and make a huge impact, but having familiar name players, continuity is I think best for the survival of a team. Well,
Mhm.
when I say survival, I mean like longevity. Having name brands that are recognizable for the fans that we come in, we're like, well, we know this player from last year and he did really well, so I want to come watch this player again because he's gonna do really well this year. I think that's really good for Reno, and something that I think this offseason we're doing the best at keeping those big name players that sort of drew out fans and crowds last year. So I'm looking forward to kind of continuing that trend in the future.
Yeah, keep them together, keep the chemistry going, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I completely agree. And looking over here, at some of his stats, it looks like in 2019, Partita actually appeared in 13 games for Reno. So that's actually higher than I thought, honestly. But it also mentions that he got an assist on the 2-0 road win in Vegas back in early October. So any guy who puts a smackdown on Vegas can stay. I don't care. I don't care what else you've done the rest of the year. If you can score against Vegas or get a point against Vegas, you're in.
Amen. Well, Ian Russell says about the signing, our staff is really excited to bring Kevin back. When he's been in Reno, he's been very valuable to the team. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the league and will be a great addition to the club in 2020. I agree with him. I think that he's going to be a big signing. And I think the one thing that kind of baffles me about this week is that's the only signing that Reno had this week. Kind of a slow week compared to a weird offseason that we've had a lot of signings very rapidly in the last couple, weeks prior to this episode. So, kind of a slow week from Reno. And unfortunately, kind of kicking into the next segment, we lost a couple of players. So, we lost more players from our team from this past year than we gained back. The first player, I'm going to go ahead and say the first player. I tweeted about it earlier this week. If you're not following me on Twitter, you really should. Um, that would be Emre Clementa. Emre Clementa has gone over to new USL side, inaugural USL side, San Diego Loyal SC. And yeah, I mean, that's a player I was kind of surprised to see go. I thought that he played, in the games that he played in, that he should have deserved to be re-signed. That he kind of got bumped back and forth out of the starting roster for a number of reasons. I think in chief is the Benjamin Galindo situation that we had here in Reno. And I was really kind of hoping we'd re-sign him because I thought that he was a really good player. And I think that he would have been really, really, really key to this team with Thomas Jinjigian in the back line. And out of all the back line players that we've had in the past couple years, which has been, shaky last year, but really consistent before that, I think Emer Clementa would have been that player that I wanted to see return for just stability and having a backline that I trust back there. Um, because Jiggy's the only guy we got signed right now. and that kind of worries me moving into next season. I know that there's still some time, but Emra to San Diego Loyal. We need to beat them 2 times a year now.
Yeah, it does kind of suck that we're going to have to face him, with him suited up in different colors. But I would have rather him go to the East. But he is, as far as defenders go in the USL, he's kind of a big name. He's a player that a lot of teams look at and a lot of teams want. So San Diego must have given him what he wanted, tickled his fancy, and they got him over to be a really good start on defense for their inaugural season.
Yeah, I agree. And I do have to take back some of the words. I forgot about another player that we re-signed over the offseason. Kind of a also name that I guess we're kind of allowed to not allowed to forget, but forgiven for forgetting. That's Sergio Rivas in the
Hmm.
midfield. Sergio Rivas is a player that played for Reno 16 games last year. He's a really good player. He ended up Reno had a 9-4-3 record when Rivas appeared in games, and it was 6-2-0 when he started. Um, and in those games, I'm trying to find how many goals he scored because he played. He had 2 goals and an assist in 8 starts. He made his debut at Colorado Springs on April 13th and scored his first goal a week later over New Mexico. Um, and honestly, Sergio Rivas, he's a dreamer. He missed a lot of time last season just because of status in the air being up there. But I'm happy to have him back. Again, more continuity, more players that I love to see. A player that I think showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of chemistry with the team, and definitely has that explosive stretching the field ability. And definitely has a brain in his head that he can split up the field and make some good passes with. So I'm also happy to see him competing with some midfield spots. Uh, Really, we have a very strong midfield going into next year with him, with Sam Gleedle, with Dabo, with Partita. We have a really, really strong midfield that I'm looking forward to seeing in action next year. Kind of makes me wonder who's starting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's. I feel like that's kind of Ian's game. He likes really deep midfields. I feel like that's been the case the entire time. You never know who's going to be that center four. And it's really good considering the kind of lineup that Ian likes to run. He, as we talk about on here all the time, he runs that 4-4-2 diamond midfield. It requires good soccer intelligence. It requires players that can read the field, that are very athletic, and can change their role on the drop of a hat. So having options in those positions is really key to make his system work. So good on him for doing that. But like you were saying, let's keep building the rest of the positions.
Yeah, I think we need to add some more defensive and attacking striker positions to really round out this team. But right now, as it stands halfway through the offseason, just about halfway, we're really getting close to the next season. I'm happy with this team. I think that it it's a lot of familiar faces, and of all these familiar faces that are coming back, these are the players that I trusted from last year. Players that I was gawking at and giving my lovey-dovey eyes at week in and week out. So I'm really excited for next season. It can't come quick enough, if you ask me.
Yeah, really. Um, yeah, and it's going to come a lot quicker than you think. I feel like it always happens where it's like the end of postseason leading up into the new year seems to drag on forever because you're just waiting for that soccer. And then once the new year comes, all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's February and it's preseason, and we have a preseason game at the stadium. So get ready for it. It's going to come a lot quicker than you think.
I'm looking forward to it. So that's really it that we have for Reno 1868 news. Given that
Oh,
we're not forgetting something else, sounds
I
like we
got one
are.
more. Oh yeah, and this kind of stuff does happen. I feel bad, forgetting guys, but we jump back and forth on the days that we start, on the days that we stream. So it's we always have to go back and check the dates on all the news, and unfortunately, some stuff gets missed. But yeah, like still happy with everyone who's coming in, but another sad one of people going out. I know, there was already hinted at the fact that because the team didn't exercise his option, and they announced that in the last batch of options exercised. Danny Mazovsky, he will no longer be with us. He got signed by LAFC. But that's amazing for him. That's a great step up. I don't know what their plans are for him since their forward line is very deep. He might just be a depth addition. He might be a little bit of a developmental addition. But man, that just sucks. Like, I am not happy to see him go. Not only because he's incredibly good, when he's healthy, incredibly good, but he's also a Nevada native. He may be from down south, but he's still a Nevadan, and it sucks to see him go. We're gonna miss his production. He played 40 games over his 2 years with Reno 1868, scoring 16. And those are great numbers for a young kid.
Hmm.
Those are great numbers for anybody, to be honest. And his development, his production must have caught some MLS eyes, and he's going to the best MLS team on paper right now. So that's amazing for him. Congratulations, but boo LAFC.
Yeah, you're a Galaxy fan, right? Oh man.
Nobody should like LAFC except for LAFC people. Even then, it
Yes.
should be on the fence.
Honestly, I share the same, kind of bittersweet feelings about it. He's a good player. He's a guy that he deserves this chance that he's being given, and it sucks that it's LA. I kind of would have rather it have been, anything else except for maybe Cincinnati or Nashville. But of all places, you're right. That's one of the teams that has been shelling out for some really star name players. A team that he's going to get the chance to, if not start or get some development time, very much get a lot of practice and a lot of help and a lot of ways to improve his game. And when it comes to playing and getting your game up, um, learning behind some star players, if Vela stays, I know that that's one of the names that might be in the wind or not. That would be like the perfect person to learn behind in the MLS. I don't really know of many other people who are so star-studded than he is. So yeah, it just sucks to see him go though. But again, we always wish our players like the best, and we want them to move upward because we're a Division Two squad. And so he's being given a great chance, as you said, and I hope that he makes the best of it. And who knows what happens in the next year or so.
Yeah, and I just hope that he actually does get some MLS time, and he's not just sent down to their affiliate, which I believe is Orange County, because I don't want to have to see two former Reno 1868 players back to back, facing us. So, yeah, let's not do that.
Ugh, man, I
Shoot for
don't.
gold,
Yeah,
buddy.
I don't want to see any Orange County players or any Reno players that are Orange County. I'm still bitter about losing my hair on that one. It's growing back. I've shaved my beard. You know, I got my baby face on this week.
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
seriously do.
I don't want to go back to lamenting about shaving my head, even though every time I join Orange County, Orange and Black, they always make fun of me and say like, "Oh, that's not shaved head."
Yeah, it was a buzz,
Yeah.
but oh well. But okay, so I think that's all of our signings and releases, and so looking at the off-season player tracker here, we do actually have enough players to field a team, not a full team,
Yay.
but we wouldn't be disqualified for not having enough players on the field. So our current team right now is Brent Richards, Thomas Janjigian, Corey Herzog, Sam Gleedle, Yosemar Hernandez, Sergio Rivas, Mohamed Dabo, Tucker Bone, and Kevin Partita.
Plus, probably still being sent down one, if not both, at some point. JT and Bersana.
Yep,
So,
exactly. Yeah, so that's almost a full team.
both of them are still signed with San Jose, and I don't doubt that they're gonna stop sending us. They want them to get some minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that finally covers all the Reno 1868 news. I guess I kind of lied when I said at the beginning that Reno 1868 news would be very brief and quick because we're almost 20 minutes in now.
Nice. We actually, yeah, we did have a decent amount of stuff to talk about. It's
Yeah.
amazing how much time flies when we're talking about
Hmm.
good stuff like Reno soccer.
Yeah. So I know that you have a lot that you want to talk about in the soccer world. I'm going to steal one at the beginning because I
Have
always
at it.
seem to do one, and that is Uncle Man. Uncle MLS is taking another city in. It was announced this week for what, $325 million. A good, cool 125 million over the team that was announced recently, Sacramento. Like, man, they are making a lot of money on expansion sides in the MLS. Like, that new city is Charlotte, from my home state of North Carolina. If you look on my wall right over here, if you're watching on YouTube, which is the best place to watch, you have my little North Carolina. As a North Carolinian, I am kind of upset that it's Charlotte. I really wanted Raleigh, Durham, Wake County to have the team come in, the new MLS team. I know that they've been fighting for a downtown stadium and event center, and Charlotte ended up taking the new team that's moving in, led by a Mr. David Tepper, and good for Charlotte. They're gonna join in 2021. Um, but man, it sucks as a North Carolinian, home city of Raleigh, to see it not be Raleigh and NCFC. Um, but yeah, good on Charlotte, good on the MLS and Gerber for procuring another team.
Gerber.
How many do you think that they're gonna get up to? Because I think that is team number 30.
30. Yep.
And how many do you think 32? Do you think it's gonna equal the NFL, or is it gonna go higher?
The sky's the limit, dude. I could honestly see it going higher.
I hate to hear that. It's people are reaching into their pockets. Good for the MLS,
Hmm.
that they keep on expanding. Um, they have four new teams coming in the next couple of years: St. Louis, Sacramento, Charlotte, and Austin. I think joins next year. With
Yes.
the pre-court soccer team that they have there. Um, so maybe like I that's my news from the MLS. Charlotte is now a team in the MLS, joining in 2021.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, they did kind of allude to it a few days before it happened, so it wasn't a huge surprise.
Hmm.
But the allusion to it was a big surprise. Everyone was like out of nowhere, just Charlotte, really? There are a lot of other teams that have really been vying hard for it, and I mean, I guess the only requirement is that you need to have your city be open to it, have lots of money that your city is also willing to chip in on, and have plans for a stadium unless your name is NYCFC. So, I mean, good for them. That's great, but it makes the next expansion. It's who knows. It could be Phoenix. It could be Vegas. Could be Detroit. It could be uh, you know East Jesus nowhere.
All right, Birmingham.
I've been talking to my dad too much. That's one of his phrases.
I know. All right. So what do you got for me, Matt? What's your first of many different things going on in the world?
All right, so bouncing back to stuff that involves USL, because that MLS team is actually not the USL Charlotte side. There is a big change to the US Open Cup starting in 2020. I know they make changes every year, but this one is actually kind of a big jump. They are not only starting earlier than they ever have. First round is going to be March
Whoa.
25th, 24th, and 25th. And that's all open teams.
Hmm.
That's when all the lower,
The
much lower division,
beer league
uh,
teams.
the beer league teams, exactly. Your Christos FC, that kind of stuff. Um, they're going to enter, and one of the concerns is that it being that early uh, might kill a lot of teams even entering, because a lot of the open division teams rely on college players, and there's a lot of issues with eligibility in the NCAA soccer world that prevents college players from branching out and doing other things while they are college players. So it is yet to be seen who is going to be committing to it and who's going to be able to put together a team in the couple weeks before the Open Cup after the college season ends. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing that they're changing that a lot of people have been clamoring for, which it's not quite there yet, but it's a good start, is that MLS teams are going to be starting earlier in the tournament this year. A lot of people complained that earlier rounds are the chance for lower divisions to weed each other out, and then you have to face the MLS teams. And from there, it's just shooting fish in a barrel. You have tired teams that some of them who maybe just barely got by in the last round because the Open Cup is nuts, and then you're facing this MLS side who somehow not doesn't care about the tournament and still always run away with it. It's frustrating, and it's really nice to see more MLS teams entering in early. So what's going to happen is in the third round, we're going to have all Division 3 and Division 2 teams enter that are eligible. Division 3 being Nisa and no, that's it.
League
Oh,
League
and
One.
in League One, yeah. I couldn't remember if they had eligibility, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking something else. So yeah, they're going to enter as well as the Division 2 teams, that being USL Championship, and as well as 11 MLS teams. It's not random, and it's not throwing them all into the mix at the same time, but it is a start. The 11 teams have already been decided for the third round, and that's going to be Chicago Fire, Colorado Rapids, Columbus Crew, FC Cincinnati, FC Dallas, Houston Dynamo, Inter Miami CF, Nashville SC, Orlando City SC, San Jose Earthquakes, and Sporting Kansas City. So it's a good mix there, and it's a good chance for some lower division teams to make a better run. What I would like to see to make this even better is that MLS teams should have to travel to lower division stadiums because they have more money, and that's more of a draw for the lower division team to get more fans in and make more money. So it's a win-win for everybody. But maybe we'll eventually get there, but I think this is a good start. And I
Yeah,
think this will make the tournament a lot more exciting.
yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of nice to see that by the time that New Mexico makes it to Minnesota, you know, because I remember when New Mexico made it to Minnesota, it was a big deal. They flew in a bunch of fans, and it was a really hype thing for them. And then they were so tired because they were playing all their first teamers, and Minnesota's like, oh yeah, here's our like B squad, which is just as good as a lot of USL teams. So it's like, oh yeah,
Yep.
they're healthy, they're ready to go. And that game was an absolute cluster. I think it was like 7-1. It
Yeah,
was
well, and that New Mexico scored first, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is gonna get good," and then it didn't.
yeah, but it's like just seeing, during a time of the season where Open Cup happens, the USL is going to be able to field teams that are going to be more competitive against MLS teams, and it would be nice to see another uh, Rochester Rhino Battery run it in the Open Cup. So I'm happy to hear about this news with the USL or the US Open Cup changing. I'm happy to hear um, that finally about time that teams are starting to enter early from the MLS and being more competitive. And it kind of sucks to hear about the open division really gonna have to have teams struggle to sign up. But again, it's a step in the right direction. Next year, hopefully they correct it and make it start later again, because I think March is way too early. It's not really a mid-season cup anymore if it's within like the first 3 weeks of the season starting.
Yeah, it might be awkward. It might be. I mean, it's guaranteed to be thrilling because it's the Open Cup. But we'll just have to see. And that's the best tournament in the country. So I mean, if they can keep making it better and better, keep it coming.
All right, what else do you got for me, Matt?
Okay, we're gonna jump to these then, are we? So this seems to be the season of rebrands. Everybody's rebranding. USL, MLS, and the most recent USL rebrand, which was hinted at the week prior, and a lot of people were speculating, making memes, making fun of it because this team is very easy to meme. Uh, Louisville City have rebranded, and it is not good. Here, let me bring it
Oh,
up. It is atrocious. The original crest, I know a lot of people think it may have like the slightly cartoonish like '90s soccer crest feel to it, but I thought it was really clean. I thought it was one of the better ones in American soccer. It really incorporated Louisville. It had the skyline, it had the bourbon barrel. It was perfect. It really worked for them. This crap is like some kind of bastard love child of the Sacramento Kings, the LA Kings, and Montreal Impact. I don't know. Like it's really, really bad. And I had to bring up the image of the explainer graphic, not
mm-hmm.
just a crest, because the explainer graphic makes it even sillier. The fact that this diagonal line right here, which they call horizontal, represents the Ohio River. I don't even know why they would have tried to put that word in there. I think that's kind of stupid, but it just makes it look a little amateurish, and people have really been making fun of that. But then you have the purple triangle here that is not only not a triangle because it has four sides, but it's in the describer is talking about pointing upward to evoke Lou City's momentum and our city's rise as a professional market, and it is not pointing upward. I I think this is incredibly silly, and apparently they made this decision. They consulted the front office people. No fans were consulted at all about this. Without a head of marketing. There is an ad out right now for Lou City for a head of marketing position. So they put forth this PR nightmare without anybody to blame it on. So like I feel like they're gonna have to ride this. Like the the incomplete triangle, the circle of stars that somehow they couldn't fit in the black for some reason, and the fact that they changed the colors from purple and gold, which looks awesome, to this just flat crap.
I
And
think
well,
uh, I think
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the worst thing in my opinion about this isn't anything about the actual like how it looks. It's the name change from Louisville City FC to Lou City. Like
It,
like just changing the city to a nickname kind of makes it feel like you're, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Minimizing the significance of your city, the actual name. Like they just
yep.
shortened a Louisville to Lou. And it kind of minimizes the people who live there. It kind of minimizes the city. It just looks like absolute garbage. Everything I share, the circle for the stars on it aren't even in the whole image. The the shield, like, it's boxy, it has no curves, it has no significant features, it doesn't attract the eye color. It kind of falls off. The gray looks absolutely horrendous. Um, I don't know where else to go. It's not good. I hope that they have a pretty bomb jersey next year because this is not going to be a good centerpiece on it.
This ain't it, Chief.
Hmm.
Well, there's some merchandise that they've released already, and it for some reason only features the insignia in the middle, just like the purple and black like mini shield in the middle. There,
Hmm.
it doesn't have the entire crest, which almost makes me think they're ashamed of the entire thing, and they only want to show the little design elements in the middle. I just don't get this. It's bad.
Hmm.
Fix it. Go back and fix it because you know people are still ripping on Chicago, and they're not listening to their fans at all. And Lou City, you have the chance to fix that. You have plenty of time.
Hmm.
This looks like crap. You're getting a new stadium. You need a crest that fits it. You need something that fits the success that your club has had and how prominent you are in the USL. This ain't it.
Man, that just reminds me of this lovely, lovely thing that I think that they're trying to mimic. Hope you know what I'm trying to bring up. This. It, if they could pull off something, an explainer like this, perfect. But I'm showing the forward Madison explainer. It is the best explainer I've seen ever in my life. In the past couple years, it's funny, it's witty, it explains everything pretty well. This is how you explain something, not the way Louisville did.
Yeah, but do you really think humor could have saved that?
Oh God, no.
I really don't think so. It's just bad. you, any kind of self-deprecation, people would just ride and deride you anyway.
All right. Well, we have one more, I believe, this week. New logo, rebrand, something. This one hopefully is better, isn't it?
Much, much better. Completely different levels.
All right, let's see it. If you're ready, if not, I'll just stall time by like.
Oh, I have it. I
Oh,
thought, yeah, I
yeah.
didn't know if you
I
were gonna.
I was kind of
Yeah,
trying
there
to
you
cue
go.
you there. Oh man, that thing is so much
Like,
prettier.
oh my God, Charleston Battery's new crest is gorgeous. This is perfect. Like that. That makes it the best crest in American soccer, I think.
And issue with the old one is there was no issue with it. Like
No, I
this,
didn't have an
yeah.
issue with it.
Like the old crest didn't really need changing, but and I didn't think it could have gotten better than it was, but this is beautiful. It's black, it's yellow, it's simple. It has the year of the team being founded. It kept everything that was good about the old one and changed the soccer ball logo
Thankfully,
for a crescent moon, and then just removed battery and made it a circle instead of a shield. It
yeah,
kept everything amazing about the identity of the team, about everything itself, and ran with it. And I think that they did the right job there. So kudos on Charleston for a good rebranding. Um, sometimes less is more. This is a case where I feel like less is more. That they didn't need an explainer to explain what was going on in here because we know what's there. We know it's the battery. That's what the cannons at the bottom represent. And that's all you need.
yeah. Like that's a perfect point. You don't need an explainer for this one. It's right there. I mean, some people might ask, "Oh, what's up with the crescent moon?" It's on the flag of
Yeah,
South Carolina,
that's the South Carolina
but
flag.
yeah, but if you know anything about your country, if you have any interest in other things around your own country, like you should probably know that kind of stuff. And dude, I can't get over how nice this is. And if in the future we ever get any kind of rebrand or a recrest or something like that, whoever made that, let him do it
I
for the
agree.
love of God.
I agree. All right. You know, I feel like we're getting pretty close to the end of this wonderful episode. Do you got anything else, any new news as you can hear the dogs in my background?
You're going nuts. Yeah, just a couple other things from around the league, or a couple of USL leagues. Firstly, staying in the championship, big surprise to everybody is Miami FC are joining the USL Championship. Uh, this team, which everybody felt like they were along the lines of the Cosmos, that they were always never USL, never MLS. That those leagues are full of shills, and they're full of like of people who are okay with giving away their identity. But just out of nowhere, Miami was like, "Yeah, we're in. Okay, cool." Probably because there's talks of pro rel, probably because this league actually makes money and is not constantly on the edge of folding like Nisa. But that's awesome. That's more of a Florida rivalry. That should be interesting. It means that we are going to be getting another team over on the West Coast, which I mean, probably St. Louis again, because they like to jump back and forth because they're not gone until 2021. So we still get them for one more year. And as is tradition, they should be coming back over. But one of the weird things I found about the announcement with Miami FC, I don't know if there's something about copyright or trademarks, but everywhere I'm seeing this, it's the Miami FC. Like that's actually their
Mm,
like official name.
hmm
It what is that? Do you have any insight on that?
The only thing I can think of is it's very similar to the Ohio State University. Uh, just a bunch of people that think adding the word "the" makes you unique. Um, I know that their fans are kind of some of the rowdier people who were against going into, I guess, the USL, and now that they're in it, they're kind of like, "Oh no, we never were like that all along."
What do you mean? I love USL.
um, I guess welcome to Miami FC, the
Yeah,
Miami FC.
the. Miami FC.
Who knows how long it'll last? I feel like the league is still growing at a very rapid pace, and I don't know. We're getting real close to where they need to do something about the number of teams. I keep saying that with the two different conferences. We're about to be at like 18, 19, 20 in each conference. And
Hmm.
I'm all for that. But like I keep saying, I want more interconference play. Like, and there's, adding teams only detracts from it. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe we can regionalize it a little more, where you play, the same teams in your little quadrant of the country, and then you can start branching out a little more. If they can create some kind of deal where it makes travel cheaper, or if
Hmm.
there's an incentive to do that, then I could see it happening. But for now, they got to keep it close. But the league is growing; it's getting better, and I could see that happening in the future. But pro rel for sure is happening. I feel like next 3 years, I want to say 3 to 5. It is definitely happening. So exciting times coming ahead in U.S. soccer.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'm thinking it's about time to move into final thoughts. Is there anything else you have to add?
Oh, just that Penn FC is ceasing operations, even though they were supposed to join League One in 2020. So they just kind of like threw in the towel, and they're done. So the Harrisburg City Islanders / Penn FC are no more.
Oh well, that's all
Hmm.
I gotta say about that is just oh well. I kind of saw it coming, but
Yeah, but you never like seeing teams go under.
yeah, you never do.
It's it's
Um,
it's never a good thing.
yeah, it just it sucks, but I don't really have any allegiances to Penn FC.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
anything else? I can't really think of anything.
Man, I think that about does it for actual news.
There's a lot. Surprisingly so, there was a lot this week.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're going to move into random thoughts, and I'm going to start off. I know that usually John likes to go last. I'm going to be opposite of John and go first.
Nice.
So my random thought this week is with the holiday season upon us. It's kind of weird. I've had a bunch of people from my past couple years who have since moved out of Reno just come and visit, and like one of them sleeping on my couch for a day or two in the next couple of days. But it's just nice to see people popping up, and this is the first year because I don't celebrate Christmas. This is the first year where I kind of feel like a little holiday giving trend is more common in my life, and seeing people that I haven't seen in a while. And there's a couple more people coming back to town that I haven't seen in a while. But it makes, even though I'm not going to be with my family during this holiday season, it kind of makes me feel like I still have a family with me, and I'm kind of really happy about that. Just because I would, the loneliness of holiday season when you're away from family. So I'm happy about that. And if we do not have an episode next week, I wish everybody a happy and safe holiday, and we'll see you in the nearest future, if not in 2020. We're almost
Ooh.
there. I know, right? This could
Sounds
be
so
the
futuristic.
I know this could be the last episode of 2020 or 2019.
Possibly, but let's see. We'll make it happen.
Hmm. All right, random thoughts, Matt.
All right, random thought. I'm sticking around Christmas time too. Um, I've been seeing some stuff online that I think is really neat, and I want to encourage a lot of people to do this too. Is that I believe there was an issue with Amazon. They lost their. I mean, they no longer have a deal with FedEx. FedEx isn't delivering for them anymore. So UPS has been working like absolute madmen. Like they are working round the clock. They have trucks backed up in their haul areas that they're trying to clear out.
Hmm.
Um, and I know a lot of people are upset about packages taking an extra couple days to show up, even though it's still super crazy quick. So what a lot of people have been doing is setting out, drinks or snacks or whatever on their porches on days that they know that these delivery drivers are coming to bring them stuff. And honestly, that probably makes their day. They're on a very, very tight schedule. They're trying to get everyone their Christmas stuff as fast as possible, and they have a lot of deadlines to hold on. And if they come up to a house and road weary, and they see like a bag of snacks and a Gatorade there waiting for them, that would absolutely make their day.
Oh
So,
yeah,
if you have it, if you have the ability, and you have packages coming, leave a little treat for your driver.
yeah.
Spread some of that Christmas cheer.
100% agree. You know, I've seen a couple of those videos online. It's nice to see these people are so overworked right now. Um, yeah, it's holiday season and Amazon's the number one retailer right now. So send them some love. All right, social media time. You can follow me on Twitter at Pal on the Sky. I've been a little more active. I keep saying that every week, but I feel like every week I have been more and more active.
You have.
I've been trying my best to say we're going live this night. So if you ever want to know what day, because in this crazy off season we've been on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. If you ever want to know what night it is, I will tweet it out for you. All right. If you don't see a tweet from at Pal on the Sky, then we are not live that night, or I forgot. All right. I will try my best not to forget. Where can we follow you, Matt?
Yeah, that kind of has fallen into your role, and you've been doing a good job. So you can find me online, mostly on Reddit on r/USL Pro, or on Twitter. My username on both is Raf Out Loud with underscores between each word. Been kind of slow a couple weeks. Haven't really been making very much because there's not a lot. There hasn't been too much to make fun of that is GIF worthy. But keep your eyes open, and I'm going to be making stuff in the future. There's still a lot of off season.
Yeah. And as always, gotta plug the stream and the YouTube. Please follow us on YouTube if you have not already, and only listen us on SoundCloud because the actual ability to see our face and everything that we talk about on screen is important. Go ahead and give us a follow on YouTube at 1868 Weekly on YouTube. You will get notifications if you click that little bell in the corner that we are going live.
And
Please do
smash
that.
that subscribe button.
I'm surprised that we get, a bunch of listeners every week and we still only have 20 something subscribers on YouTube. I think that is blasphemous. I am plugging it for John this week.
Nonsense.
And don't forget to follow John. I don't remember his stuff on the top, but I think
He
it's
always says just look up John Macaluso
yeah,
wherever you're at.
the real John Macalusa, I think it is.
Yep.
So don't forget to give him a follow. John, we miss you. I think I did actually a better job filling in for you this week with the clicky clicks and the sound working properly.
You
So
did.
pat on the back
Yep.
for myself. And
Golf clap.
as always, guys, thank you guys for listening to another wonderful off-season episode of 1868 Weekly. In Ian we trust. And vamos
Azules!
azules! All right, guys. Thanks as always. You guys have a great one.
Bye, everybody.